Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is what we've been waiting for. The semi-finals of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge 2024, version 6.0. 3 tantalizing semi-final contests are upon us. The first, a blockbuster contest, which the two schools have described as a mini El Clasico. The contest is between two former champions, the University of Cape Coast and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The second contest will be between the defending national champion and the Southwest Zone champion, the University of Education Winneba, coming up against the Northern Zone champion, the University for Development Studies. The third semi-final contest will be between the University of Ghana, who are the defending Southeast Zone champion, against the runners-up of the Northern Zone, the SD Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome you to the semi-final stage. Indeed, this is going to be exciting. Now, the Tertiary Business Science Challenge is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana and the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. Our sponsors, MTN Ghana, PwC Ghana, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Glyco Life, Compu Ghana, and Gold Ghana. Our media partners, Daily Graphic, Graphic Online, and TV3, as well as Asasi Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, the first of the semi-final contest is upon us. It is between two distinguished institutions in the history of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge. In the 5 previous editions, these two schools share between them 3 of the titles, 2 former champions. These two schools have met 4 times in the history of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge. In 2020, the University of Cape Coast defeated KNUST at the semi-final stage to move to the finals, where they eventually lost to the UDS. In 2021, again, the University of Cape Coast defeated KNUST at the grand finale. In 2022, KNUST defeated UCC and UPSA at the finals to win their first and only trophy as it stands now. In 2023, last year, both of them met with the University of Education Winneba, and UEW defeated the two schools to win the title. This promises to be exciting. Then again, we are reminded that in all editions of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge, at least one of these two schools have been at the finals, and that trend is going to continue because at least one of these schools will be at the finale. It is indeed a blockbuster contest. It is one that is fit for the gods. But of course, only one of these two schools will qualify. Now, which of these two schools is it going to be? Will it be KJTR or Kotokraba? Will it be the Middle Zone or the Southwest Zone? Ladies and gentlemen, will it be Kumasi or Cape Coast? Will it be the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology or the University of Cape Coast? Only time will tell. I cannot say for now. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, please welcome the contestants from the two schools as they join me upstage. You are welcome, gentlemen. All right, please introduce yourselves, KNUST.
I'm Bempon Osusamo. I'm final year accounting.
Divine Pudu, final year accounting. Adeliki Jaffet, 3rd year accounting.
You are welcome, gentlemen. KNUST, what should we expect from you today?
So I would say you should expect the best from us because we've been preparing for this for a very long time.
How has the preparation been, if I may ask, Divine?
So we've been able to cover a lot of fronts, but as you know, learning is a never-ending process. So, but we believe that what we've been able to cover now is enough to achieve what we intend to do today.
Let's see how that goes, ladies and gentlemen. That is the KNUST team. Now, who do we have from the University of Cape Coast?
Lamtini final year.
Akoi Frank Aku, final year.
Yanko Jesse Blessing, final year accountant.
You are welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
What should we expect from you today?
We'll do our best to win this contest.
How has the preparation been, UCC?
Pretty tough, but it's nothing we can't handle. We'll do our best.
You certainly have to do your best. In the 6-year history of the TBSC, the University of Cape Coast has been to every single final, grand finale. Yes, we'll see how that goes. KNUST has vowed to spoil that record. Of course, UCC is determined to keep that record going. Ladies and gentlemen, this promises to be full of fireworks. It will be full of academic violence. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traore, and I love academic violence. Let's have some violence this morning. Now, the contest is going to be organized in 5 rounds. Round 1 is on theory to test your understanding of basic principles and concepts in business. Round 2 will involve calculations. Round 3 is our business case of the day, where both schools worked on their business cases already. They will be presenting their solution to a panel of judges. Round 4A is a graphic business segment where we'll test your understanding of some stories that appeared in the graphic business newspaper. Round 4B is a true or false segment. The 5th and final round will be riddles. Please, are we ready, UCC?
Yes, please.
KNUST, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am ready. Let's go straight into round 1. We begin with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. KNUST, you are to describe the principle of... No, before that. Remember, this is round 1. Each of you have the opportunity of attempting 7 major questions. For a major question, you have 10 seconds to give me an answer. If it's a bonus, you have 5 seconds to give an answer. 3 points for a major question answered correctly. 1 point if it's a bonus. 2 attempts only at a major question. 1 attempt at a bonus. Questions can come from any of the business areas. Now to your major question, KNUST. You have to describe for me and for my audience the principle of incompatible functions and segregation of duties with an appropriate illustration. Describe the principle of incompatible functions in segregation of duties with an appropriate illustration.
So the incompatibility issue here deals with the fact that an individual cannot do 2 tasks, or the hiring of one individual to share in the task, that is to share in the task that is to be demarcated between 2 individuals should be relevant. So an example might be, so we have the stores manager. So the segregation duty of the stores manager should be between the stores manager and the one who gives money to the store manager, not someone like the financial manager who oversees overall financial operations.
I'll accept that. University of Cape Coast, you have to explain for me the concept of cross-training in segregation of duties. Explain the concept of cross-training in segregation of duties.
So with cross training, this is where an individual in a particular section of the organization, let's say in the finance section, is given an opportunity to train in other aspects of the organization, let's say the HR section, in order to uplift or get an overall understanding of the organization's activities.
Yes, that is correct. Our next set of questions is a common preamble to the 2 of you. Please take note. Interpersonal distance refers to the physical space or distance people maintain between themselves and others in social interactions. It is a key aspect of proxemics, a field of study that explores how humans use space in communication and how physical distance affects social behavior and relationships. According to Edward Hall, the interpersonal distances of humans can be put in 4 distinct zones. You have to identify the name for the following personal distances. Identify the name for the following personal distance. You have 1 attempt only. One attempt only. KNUST, your zone. This zone is appropriate for formal and impersonal interactions, such as those between strangers or in professional settings. It allows for clear communication without the physical closeness that might be uncomfortable for those involved. This zone is appropriate for formal and impersonal interactions, such as those between strangers or in professional settings. It allows for clear communication without a physical closeness that might be uncomfortable for those involved.
You have the answer to be public space.
That is not correct. Bonus for UCC.
The authority zone.
That is not correct. Your major question, I won't give the answer now. UCC, your zone. This zone is reserved for close relationships, such as family members, romantic partners, and close friends. Interactions within this zone are often very private, involving physical contact or whispering. This zone is reserved for close relationships, such as family members, romantic partners, and close friends. Interactions within this zone are often very private, involving physical contact or whispering.
Third zone.
The what?
Third zone.
It is not correct. Bonus for KNUST.
Intimate zone.
Yes, that is correct. Intimate zone or intimate distance is correct for 1 point. For you, your answer was social distance. Social. Next set of questions. Common preamble to the two of you. Common preamble. The 6 M's of resources framework is a tool used primarily in operations management and production environments to categorize the key resources that organizations need to effectively manage their processes. We are to identify and explain briefly 3 of the elements each of 6 M's of resources framework. Identify and explain briefly 3 of the elements each of 6 M's of resources framework, beginning from KNUST.
So we have the first one being money, which refers to the financial resources. That is, the financial resources owned by the firm in question. And then we have machinery. This refers to the layout of automated or machines that helps in the production process of the firm. And then we have manpower. Manpower refers to the physical labor that exists within the organization and helps in its operations or processes.
Yes, that is correct. University of Cape Coast, you have your chance now.
Okay, we have material, which is basically the resources and raw materials that firms use in the production. Then we have management. That's basically the people or the factors who combine other resources to ensure that the firm's goal is achieved. And then we have members, those who own the organization and then ensure they have access to resources and other factors.
1 out of 3. Management and members are not part of the 6 M's of resources. The other 2 are methods as well as measurements. All right. Next set of questions, still beginning with KNUST. Next set of questions. The hexago or hexaco model. Hexaco, Hexasco, Hexaco, model of personality structure is a 6-dimensional model of human personality that was created by researchers Kibyom Lee and Michael Ashton. You have to identify and explain briefly any 3 of the components of the model. Identify and explain briefly any 3 of the components of the model, beginning with KNUST.
So we have the first one being openness to experience. This refers to the individual's ability to accept new things and to be adventurous. And we also have assertiveness. Assertiveness refers to the ability of the individual to be straightforward in all of his dealings and to get what the person wants through competition or by force. And also, we also have neuroticism, emotional stability. This refers to the individual being able to keep his cool through all adversities that they face or any unwanted circumstances that they also face.
2 out of 3. University of Cape Coast, your chance now.
Okay, we also have cooperation. That's basically how firms, how individuals relate with other individuals. And then we also have conscientiousness, how individuals are reliable and well organized. And then we have extraversion, the extent to which individuals relate with other individuals in the environment. So extraversion has to do with like external relationships and other factors, whether they are like introverts or extroverts and all that.
Okay, I'll take that. So the cooperation relates to agreeableness. Yes, that is fine. For KNUSC, the one I didn't accept is assertiveness. Per the hexagonal model, assertiveness is not one of the elements. So that is why I gave you 2 out of 3. For the next set of questions, we begin with the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast, your major question. The Accra brand model, AAKER, Accra brand model, developed by David Accra, is a strategic brand management framework that helps organizations understand and build strong brands. The model is commonly referred to as the brand equity model and consists of 5 key components, often referred to as Accra's 5 assets of brand equity. University of Cape Coast, you have to identify and explain briefly any 3 elements of Accra's 5 assets of brand equity. Identify and explain briefly any 3 elements of Accra's 5 assets of brand equity.
Okay, we have proprietary assets, which includes such factors as patents, trademarks, and other things that gives the firm an edge over its competitors. And we also have brand loyalty, the extent to which the firm's customers are loyal to its brand. And we have brand association, what the firms or the customers think of when they think of the firm's brand.
Yes, that is correct. KNUS, your major question. The brand pyramid model is a framework that outlines the different stages of consumer engagement with a brand. It helps marketers understand how consumers perceive a brand and how to move them from simply recognizing the brand to becoming loyal advocates. The model typically has 5 levels, each representing a deeper connection between the consumer and the brand. You have to identify and explain briefly any 3 elements of the brand pyramid model. Identify and explain briefly any 3 elements of the brand pyramid model. Can you esteem?
So we have brand awareness. So the brand awareness is about how a person is able to recall or how like a person is able to recall a brand. So we have brand loyalty. So with the brand loyalty, it's about how a person establishes long-term relationship with a particular brand. So you have brand
Advocacy. So the brand advocacy deals with how likely the individual is to choose the particular brand in question over all other brands that exist within the market.
No, brand advocacy is not part, so I'll give you 2 out of 3. So the loyalty is there, that is bonding, as well as the presence, which is a brand awareness. But advocacy is not one of the 5 elements of the brand pyramid model. Next set of questions still begin with the University of Cape Coast, but common preamble to the 2 of you. The Public Expenditure and Financial Accountability Framework, PIFA, is a methodology for assessing public financial management performance. It identifies 94 characteristics or dimensions across 31 key components of public financial management, that is the indicators, in 7 broad areas or pillars. In reference to the statement I just made, you are to explain 3 of the 7 pillars of PIFA. Identify and explain briefly 3 of the 7 pillars of PIFA. UCC.
Okay, we have budget reliability, which has to do with the extent to which the budget achieves its intended purposes. Then we have external scrutiny of an audit. That's where the financial or public finances are subject to audits. And then we also have management of assets and liabilities, where assets are properly managed and ensured they achieve their purposes.
Yes, correct. KNUST, your chance.
So we have the management of assets and liabilities, which refers to.
That has been mentioned. That has been mentioned, please.
So we have transparency in public financing. This refers to how well government is able to show how its financial resources are actually spent within a current year or within a budget period. And we also have policy-based fiscal strategy and budgeting. This refers to the application of fiscal conditions that exist within our budget creation in Ghana. And also we have prudence, we also have predictability and control in budget execution. So this refers to how well government has a hold in how it executes its budgets in the current economy or current country.
Yes, that is correct. We'll take our last set of questions, beginning still with the University of Cape Coast. Now, UCC, you are to state 3 conditions under which the Commissioner General of the GRA may cancel the VAT registration of a taxable person. State 3 conditions under which the Commissioner General may cancel the VAT registration of a taxable person.
The 3 conditions for which the Commissioner General may base on to make a decision is if the person does not have if the person does not have a permanent place of business, and the person does not engage in the taxable operations, and the last one is if the person does not keep proper records of accounts.
Yes, that is correct. KNUST, you are to state 3 conditions under which the Commissioner General may cancel the registration of a manufacturer of excisable goods. State 3 conditions under which the Commissioner General may cancel the registration of a manufacturer of excisable goods.
So where they engage in illegal activities, the Commissioner General is entitled to cancel it. And also where improper records are also kept by the manufacturing firm, the Commissioner General can also cancel it. And also where the person does not file appropriate tax returns when they are due, the Commissioner General can cancel their excise stamp.
2 out of 3. So specifically, when we look at the Act, it talks about 3 major things. Where the manufacturer does not comply with the terms and conditions or restrictions imposed on the registration, where the manufacturer is convicted of an offense under the Excise Duty or Customs Act, or where the person is less than 18. Those are the 3 specific ones that I mentioned, but I gave you the other one that I talked about, illegality as well as improper records. Because, of course, if you don't keep improper records, the Commissioner General may cancel the registration. On that note, we come to the end of round 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, we said it was going to be a blockbuster contest. The round 1 is showing that it will indeed go down the wire. This is the contest between the University of Cape Coast and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. A place at the final is at stake. Only one will make it out of this group alive, out of this contest alive. Which of them will it be? At the end of round 1, the scores. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round 1, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology 16, University of Cape Coast 16. We have 5 more rounds to go. There is still a lot of work to be done to win this contest. We are going straight into round 2, and that is a calculation round. You are free to use your calculators. Each of you will attempt 7 major questions. For a major question, you have 30 seconds to give an answer. If it's a bonus, you have 5 seconds to give an answer. 2 attempts only at a major question, 1 attempt at a bonus. Please, I hope we are okay. We will be starting this round from the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast. Country A's inflation rate is 2% annually, while Country B's inflation rate is 4% annually. If the current exchange rate is $1 is equal to 100 country A units. Calculate the new exchange rate according to purchasing power parity after 1 year. I take it again. Country A's inflation rate is 2% annually, while country B's inflation rate is 4% annually. If the current exchange rate is $1 to 100 country A units, calculate the new exchange rate according to the purchasing power parity after 1 year.
So after 1 year, it will be 98.07, 98.08.
Yes, that is correct. University KNUST, country X has an inflation rate of 3% annually, while country Y has an inflation rate of 5% annually. If the current exchange rate is $1 equals 10 country X units, calculate the expected new exchange rate according to the purchasing power parity after 1 year. I take it again. Country X has an inflation rate of 3% annually, while country Y has an inflation rate of 5% annually. If the current exchange rate is $1 to 10 country X units, calculate the expected new exchange rate according to the purchasing power parity after 1 year.
So the rate is 9.81.
Yes, that is correct. University of Cape Coast, your major question again. Graphic Communications Group manufactures 2 products, Daily Graphic and Graphic Business. The fixed costs are 120,000 cedis. Daily Graphic sells for 50 cedis with a variable cost of 30 cedis per unit, and Graphic Business sells for 80 cedis with a variable cost of 50 cedis per unit. How many units of each product must be sold to break even if the company plans to sell twice as many units of Daily Graphic as Graphic Business? I take it again. Graphic Communications Group manufactures 2 products, Daily Graphic and Graphic Business. The fixed costs are 120,000 cedis. Daily Graphic sells for 50 cedis with a variable cost of 30 cedis per unit, and Graphic Business sells for 80 cedis with a variable cost of 50 cedis per unit. How many units of each product must be sold to break even if the company plans to sell twice as many units of Daily Graphic as Graphic Business?
Company to break even, they have to sell 1,600 units of Daily Graphic and 800 units of Graphic Business.
No, please, you have one other chance.
Okay, so we have 39 points. Okay, we have 39, and then we have 3. Oh, sorry. So 39.56.
No, please, that is not correct. Bonus for KNUST.
Okay, so for the Daily Graphic, we have the answer to be 3,428.57, and for the Graphic Business, we have the answer to be 1,714.28.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Your major question, KNUST. CompuGhana sells 2 products, laptops and mobile phones. The laptops sell for 50 cedis with a variable cost of 30 cedis per unit, and mobile phone sells for 80 cedis with a variable cost of 50 cedis per unit. The fixed costs are 150,000 cedis. If CompuGhana sells twice as many units of laptops as mobile phones, how many units of each product must be sold to break even? CompuGhana sells 2 products, laptops and mobile phones. The laptops sell for 50 cedis with a variable cost of 30 cedis per unit, and mobile phone sells for 80 cedis with a variable cost of 50 cedis per unit. The fixed costs are 150,000 cedis. If CompuGhana sells twice as many laptops as mobile phones, how many units of each product must be sold to break even?
So for the laptops, you have the answer to be 4,285.71, and for the mobile phones, you have the answer to be 2,142.85.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. University of Cape Coast, your major question. Hussein Zachary contribute 200 cedis monthly to a pension fund, and the employer matches this contribution. If the fund earns an annual interest rate of 5%, calculate the total amount accumulated in the pension fund after 10 years. Hussein Zachary contribute 200 cedis monthly to a pension fund, and the employer matches this contribution. If the fund earns an annual interest rate of 5%, calculate the total amount accumulated in the pension fund after 10 years.
The amount is 31,056.446.
No, please.
Okay, so we have the amount being 8193,7991.56.
No, please, that is not correct. Bonus for KNUST.
So we have the value to be 31,056.46.
That's what they said, and I'm not taking that. That is not correct. That is not correct. I won't give the answer now. Your major question, KNUST. Felix Tay contributes 300 cedis monthly to a pension fund, and the employer matches this contribution. If the fund earns an annual interest rate of 6%, calculate the total amount accumulated in the pension fund after 15 years. Felix Tay contributes 300 cedis monthly to a pension fund, and the employer matches this contribution. If the fund earns an annual interest rate of 6%, calculate the total amount accumulated in the pension fund after 15 years.
We have the answer to be 6,982.79.
No, please. You have one other chance.
So we have the answer to this. We have the answer to be 8,627.60.
No, that is also not correct. You've exhausted your chances. Bonus for UCC.
The answer is 87,245.61.
No. The correct answer is 167,586.98. You remember that the person is contributing monthly 300 cedis, and the employer matches the contribution. So it means that every month the total contribution is 600, and that is monthly. So you multiply it by 12 to get the annual contribution before you use the future value, or this is an annuity. So yes, I hope you get that. University of Cape Coast, your major question. PwC's quarterly sales figures in cedis for the last 4 quarters are as follows: 150,000 cedis, 170,000, 190,000, and 210,000. Calculate the seasonal index for the first 3 quarters using the ratio to moving average method. PwC's quarterly sales figures for the last 4 quarters are 150,000, 170,000, 190,000, and 210,000. Calculate the seasonal index for the first 3 quarters using the ratio to moving average method.
Okay, we have 180.
No, that is not correct. Bonus for KNUST. You also did not provide an answer. I can't give the answer now. Now your major question, KNUST. Glyco Group's monthly production data for the last 4 months is as follows: 500 units, 600 units, 700 units, and 800 units. Calculate the seasonal index for the first 3 months using the ratio to moving average method. Glyco Group's monthly production data for the last 4 months is as follows: 500 units, 600 units, 700 units, and 800 units. Calculate the seasonal index for the first 3 months using the ratio to moving average method.
We have the answer to be 577.78.
No, that is not correct.
592.
It is also not correct. Bonus for UCC.
800.
No. The indices for the first 3 months: 76.92 or 0.7692 for first month, 92.31 or 0.9231 for second month, and the third month is 107.69 or 1.0769. Those are the answers I was expecting. For the next set of questions, we begin from KNUST. KNUST, you are starting the next set for us. ICAG is a VAT registered trader. The information I'm about to give you is a transaction that took place in the month of May 2019. Value of exempt supplies, 20,000. Value of taxable supplies, 500,000. Input tax that cannot be attributable to any of the above is 10,000. Input tax on taxable supplies, 56,000. Input tax on zero-rated supplies is 6,000. Compute his total input VAT claimable for the month of May 2019. I take it again. ICA is a VAT registered trader. The information I'm about to give you is a transaction that took place in the month of May 2019. Value of exempt supplies, 20,000. Value of taxable supplies, 500,000. Input tax that cannot be attributed to any of the above, 10,000. Input tax on taxable supplies, 56,000. And input tax on zero-rated supplies is 6,000. Compute his total input VAT claimable for the month of May 2019.
The input VAT is 72,000.
Yes, that is correct. Now, University of Cape Coast, GTech is a VAT registered trader. They have the following information that took place in the month of January 2020. Exempt supplies, 582,000. Value of taxable supplies, 18,000. Input tax that cannot be attributed to any of the above, 10,000. Input tax on zero-rated supplies is 40,000. No, please let me take the figures again. Sorry. Exempt supplies, 582,000. Value of taxable supplies, 18,000. Input tax that cannot be attributed to any of the above, 10,000. Input tax on taxable supplies, 40,000. Input tax on zero-rated supplies is 5,000. Compute his total input tax claimable for the month of January 2020. I take it again. Exempt supplies, 582,000. Value of taxable supplies, 18,000. Input tax that cannot be attributed to any of the above, 10,000. Input tax on taxable supplies, 40,000. And the input tax on zero-rated supplies, 5,000. Compute his total input tax claimable for the month of January 2020.
45,000.
Yes, that is correct. KNUST. Calculate the 4-firm concentration ratio and Heffender-Hexman index for an industry with 4 firms having market shares of 30%, 25%, 20%, and 15% respectively. Calculate the 4-firm concentration ratio and the Heffender-Hexman index for an industry with 4 firms having market shares of 30%, 25%, 20%, and 15% respectively.
So, we have the index to be 2,150. And the concentration to be 90%.
The concentration to be what?
90%.
Yes, that is correct. University of Cape Coast. Calculate the 4-firm concentration ratio and Heffender-Hexman index for an industry with 5 firms having shares of 25%, 20%, 15%, 15%, and 10% respectively. Calculate the 4-firm concentration ratio and Heffender-Hexman index for an industry with 5 firms having market shares of 25%, 20%, 15%, 15%, and 10% respectively.
Okay, so we have the 4-firm concentration ratio to be 30.1%, and then the Heffender-Hishman index being 30,102.04.
No, that is not correct. You've been bailed out. Bonus for KNUST.
So the Heffender-Hishman index is 1575 and the concentration rate is 85%.
Yes, that is correct. We will take our last set of questions for this round. Last set of questions. KNUST. Use the Black-Scholes model to calculate the price of a call option with the following inputs. Current stock price, 100 cedis. Strike price, 105 cedis. Time to expiration, 1 year. Risk-free rate, 5%. Volatility is 20%. Use the Black-Scholes model to calculate the price of a call option with the following inputs. Current stock price, 100 cedis. Strike price, 105 cedis. Time to expiration, 1 year. Risk-free rate is 5%. Volatility is 20%.
We have the answer to be 127.63.
No, that is not correct. You have one other chance.
98.28.
It is not correct. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
$1.05.
No, that is not correct. That is not correct. I won't give the answer now. Now your major question, the University of Cape Coast. You have to calculate the price of an European call option using the Black-Scholes model, given the following. Current stock price, 100. Strike price, 110. Time to expiration, 1 year. Risk-free rate is 5%. Volatility of stock returns is 20%. Calculate the price of an European call option using the Black-Scholes model, given the current stock price to be 100, strike price to be 110, time to expiration is 1 year, risk-free rate is 5%, and the volatility of stock returns is 20%.
$6.6.
No, it is not 6.6.
$50.
No, that is not correct. You've exhausted your chances. Bonus for the KNUST.
1.5.
No. No. It is 6.04. 6.04. The first one was 8.02. On that note, we come to the end of round 2. Ladies and gentlemen. The contest is a very interesting one between KNUST and the University of Cape Coast. A place at the grand finale of the 2024 Tertiary Business Science Challenge is at stake. Only one will qualify. Remember that these two schools were in the finals last year, but they both lost to the University of Education Winneba. The scores for round 2, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of round 2, University of Cape Coast had 6 points, KNUST had 14 points. Yes, at the end of round 2. We have 4 more rounds to go. The next round after this is a business case of the day. It will be a presentation from our 2 schools to us. We gave them a case study and they'll be presenting their solution to a panel of 3 judges who will score them, and we will see who are the scores that they will get out of 15. So if you are ready. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll go for a very quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our Tertiary Business Sense Challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership is acquiring ATSWA, CA Professional, Post-Chartered Diploma from ICAG. ICAG, where leaders become more. The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our Tertiary Business Sense Challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership is acquiring ATSWA, CA Professional, Post-Chartered Diploma from ICAG. ICAG, where leaders become more. The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our Tertiary Business Sense Challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome back from the commercial break. This is still the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge. It is round 3, the business case of the day. Like I said earlier, both schools were presented with a case study, something on ESG and sustainability in an organization called Global Tech Solutions. Now, the 2 schools were presented with a set of questions based on this case study, 5 of them in all. They have worked as a team. They have come up with a PowerPoint presentation or PowerPoint projection, what they are coming to present to a team of 3 judges. So at this point, it is my singular honor to introduce the 3-member panel of judges to us. We have the first to be Mr. Elikplim Sigmund Yevuga. He's a managing partner of Aspire Executive Institute. So if you can just wave us for us to see you. The second or the next after him is Mr. Albertini Aitegu. He's the head of finance and investment at Ghana Commodity Exchange. And the third is Mr. Dixon Hassan. He's the accountant and compliance manager at Lantini Limited. So this is our distinguished panel of judges. They will be listening to the contestant or the student make their presentation. And they are going to award marks out of 15 based on a set criteria that they have. And the average score from the 3 judges will be the score for the institution. They have 5 minutes maximum within which to complete their presentation. They will be timed accordingly. So we are going to begin with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So this is just an excerpt of what they did yesterday when they were resolving their case study. You may begin your presentation, KNUST, once the slides come up. Maximum 5 minutes, please.
Yes, so good day to you everyone. My name is Divine Podo from Team KNUST, and I'm here to present a case study on global tech solutions. We are presented with a case study on global tech solutions, which is a multinational IT service provider which operates in jurisdictions such as North America, Africa, and Europe. Global Tech was established in 1998 and has achieved rapid improvements in its growth, which has resulted in huge environmental impact and has raised ethical concerns on its handling of its ESG issues and sustainability practices. So our presentation for today will look at 1, their key challenges they face regarding ESG, 2, how they would achieve carbon neutrality by 2030, and 3, how they would improve their supply chain processes. So I'm not done. With 4.2, there's also 4. The 4 is with how board diversity improves corporate governance effectiveness, and the last one being the risk that they face if they do not achieve their ESG commitments. So we go on to our first question. Next slide. Which is to address the key ESG and sustainability issues that tackle or face global tech solutions. So we have the first one being environmental issues. So the first issue we identified was the major consumption of energy by its data centers, which are heavily reliant on non-renewable energy resources. Our second issue we identified was on the social front, which related to how they were not thorough in vetting their third-party suppliers. This resulted in them working with third-party suppliers who operated sweatshops in developing countries. This poses an ethical threat to global tech because it opens them to reputational risk. And the last governance issue we identified was the company's lack of board diversity and lack of transparency in the remuneration of its board members. Next slide. Yes. So what can global tech do to achieve carbon neutrality by 2030? So when we talk about carbon neutrality, it is just the net zero carbon footprint that an entity achieves by offsetting its carbon emissions by undertaking activities that reduce subsequent carbon emissions. So I'll explain that one later. So let's go to the first point. Investment in renewable energy resources. To achieve its aim of carbon neutrality by 2030, global tech solutions should invest in renewable energy resources, including solar panels, solar farms, wind turbines, and the most recent development in technology, which is underwater data centers by startups such as Network Oceans. And we also have investment in carbon credits. The company can set aside part of its profits to invest in carbon credits, which would offset part of its environmental footprints. And then we have firm-wide sustainable programs and workshops. Global tech should undertake sustainability workshops for all of its employees, which can range from tree planting initiatives by all of its employees and also to employee training on sustainability. This is to help embed sustainability in all levels of the organization. Next slide. Yes. And we also have our third question, which is how can global tech improve its supplier audit process? Yes. So to achieve this, they must ensure that all their third-party suppliers engage in or adhere to international rules on labor regulations, which is to prevent unethical practices. They can do this through a thorough audit or vetting of their suppliers, and a thorough audit of their suppliers, and also subsequently they can set out clear criteria on the acceptable working conditions needed from these third-party suppliers to ensure that they do not engage in illegal activities or unethical activities such as the sweatshops I mentioned above. So the sweatshops, sweatshops refers to certain working conditions which are characterized by low profitability or low employee satisfaction. So they will pay low salary for high work you do, and also they won't give you certain benefits you are entitled to. Yes, and next slide, please. Yes, and also on the importance of board diversity for corporate governance effectiveness. Board diversity simply refers to the inclusion of different individuals with different backgrounds and experience on the board of a firm, and it has a wide range of benefits for corporate governance, with one being the onboarding of variety of ideas because they hire diverse individuals. Another one will be to promote the checks and balances among the boards. And also, one key thing is that it prevents the tendency for the board to do group thinking. Because in our case study now, if you read the paper now, they will tell you that the current board consists of people who are familiar with each other. So there's a tendency that they will always agree together, as opposed to us having a diverse board.
University of Cape Coast, your presentation is up next. Slides are up before your time begins. So the video for University of Cape Coast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eroni Lamte, and I'm here to present on global tech solutions. So this presentation is focused on ESG. When we speak of ESG, it's a topical issue which has emerged in our society. Many stakeholders, international, global, are all speaking about ESG. So I start with the outline, which looks at the overview of what global tech solutions. So they are a tech company who are into the rendering of IT services. And even though they've enjoyed a lot of success, there are emerging issues about how they face their sustainability issues. So we go down as we present to render solutions to the problems they have above. Next slide, please. So we spoke about global tech. They are an IT company. They've expanded their reach. They've worked hard, but yet there are issues that are alarming. Mind you, in this economic that we are, there's a need for entities to appreciate the triple bottom line. That's people, planet, profit. Let's go to the next slide. So we look at the environmental issues where we focus on their high carbon footprint due to their excessive energy consumption. This is a direct contrast to SDG Goal 7, which looks at affordable and clean energy. The next one is the use of renewable energy sources. So as I speak again, the use of renewable energy sources such as solar turbines will help ensure that they contribute and help achieve their carbon neutrality goal. Then we go to the social issues where we look at the poor working conditions. So per the case study, we can identify certain inhumane treatment of workers of the third-party suppliers of global tech solutions. Here they are paid low wages, they are overworked, and to that it is not a fair treatment of workers. So we look at the reputational risks. A business engaging in such inhumane activities stands to be at a disadvantage since reputational risk, that's the image they've built. Mind you, they are a good profitable company, but because of these social issues which are inhumane, it can tarnish their image. Next slide, please. We look at the governance issue where there is lack of board diversity. So we speak about board diversity where we have people from wide range of areas, gender, minority groups represented on the board. This helps to spread about diversity and ensures that there is a pool of individuals coming to work for the organization. Then you have the lack of lack of transparency in executive compensation, where we look at the executive compensation not being transparent. Here, the case study spoke of being linked to their achieving ESG goals, but there is no transparency as to how it is undertaken. Next slide. So here we look at how to achieve carbon neutrality. So to achieve carbon neutrality, we look at focusing on using renewable energy such as solar and wind turbines. So irrespective of how costly these are, in the long run, it stands to benefit the company. Then we go to the adoption of blockchain technology. Adoption of blockchain technology is a new emerging trend in technology. This is where the use of distributed ledgers. These ledgers require less attention since it even provides the additional comfort of having access to all data. So instead of having a physical presence of data servers, they can adopt blockchain technology to store their data. So we look at measures to improve the supplier audits. One, they should constantly partner with labor organizations such as the UN and other priority organizations to ensure effective audit process. Two, they should establish well-defined process for scrutinizing their suppliers before and after contracts to ensure they align with known practices of HR. Then we have the well-structured information system. Here, they are able to obtain adequate information to assess and audit their third-party supplier before engaging in a contract. Next slide, please. So we look at the importance of board diversity. Here we can appreciate you have individuals from various worldviews and perspectives, and it adds to the growth of the organization. Here we believe you bring on board individuals from various expertise, also adding a form of diversity and creativity to the organization. Where we have a well-diversified board, it signals the organization that yes, they are into ESG and they appreciate the need for inclusive consulting of all stakeholders from various backgrounds. Then we come to enhancing good public image. Here, the popularity is good. A company which, in our tenor of society, having women on the organization will speak well to feminists or individuals who even acknowledge women being on board. And it's a good motivator. Then you have the last one, it increases shareholders' confidence. I will believe a business with more diversified portfolio of stakeholders will help an organization. Then you have the potential risks. If they don't, they can be subjected to legal suit. Legal suit being from either the third-party suppliers, the employees of the third-party suppliers, or even a labor organization who will take on a suit against them. Then we come to the reputational risk. So reputational risk, their image will be tarnished irrespective of having large profit and having a good performing company. They will be at a risk. Then we have the possible withdrawal of potential and even existing investors. So, thank you.
Please give it to the judges. Thank you very much, Aaron and Divine, for that presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, we will hand over to our judges to ask the schools questions that they may have or clarifications.
Yes, thank you very much. Very good presentation from KNUST. Just a bit of clarification. So I like the way you did your presentation. It was quite clear and coherent. I saw that you were not able to complete the risk that global tech would want to face. So what are the risks that you actually see that would help them to meet that ESG commitment?
So with the risk aspect, the first risk that they would face is the reputational risk. If they do not meet, because of the jurisdictions they operate in certain countries such as certain continents such as Europe and North America, who have set a target of being carbon neutral by 2050. So if they are not able to meet these targets, that will result in a loss of customer and investor confidence and value. And also we have legal ramifications risk. This is the risk that they will face if they are found to be out of compliance with labor laws and environmental laws. And this could bring about hefty lawsuits and fines. And then the last risk being business probity risk. This is the risk to the overall integrity of the firm, and it arises where the entity acts without probity. That is, if they do not act with integrity and with responsibility and accountability.
Okay, thank you.
Right. UCC, brilliant presentation, and I was excited. You had a lot of confidence. Give it up. Right. So, but I have a very good question for you. Having done your presentation, one thing I want to see you tell us is how does this company measure their performance? Because you spoke about some various aspects of ESG, right? the environment, social, and governance issues, right? But I want you to pick up social issues. How does this company specifically measure their performance to be sure whether they are achieving their social impact? I repeat, social impact specifically.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Okay,
So, per your question, the social impact. So, for them to measure their social impact, they can start first of all, look at the market, look at the ideal company who are implementing social impact or engaging in social issues which are ideal, and use it as a target to measure their performance. And also, they can look at assessing or obtaining questionnaires from even the employees of the third-party suppliers to even assess as to their treatment they are receiving, salary, or even working conditions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your scoring. You're not done with your scoring, all right. So maybe we will go for a very quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll tell you the scores for round 3. A very quick commercial break. We'll be right back. So, ladies and gentlemen, round 3 has just gone by. We had wonderful presentations from the two institutions, and the judges asked them a number of questions, and the judges have their scores. So, we are going to take the scores from the judges, one after the other, and then we find the average score, and that average of the 3 judges becomes the score for the school. So, we begin with Judge Asan Dixon. What score did you give the University of Cape Coast?
University of Cape Coast, 13.
KNUST?
11.5.
Judge 2, Mr. Albert Nia Itego, UCC.
14.
KNUST.
14.
Okay. Judge 3, Mr. Eli Yavuga Sigmund, UCC.
UCC 14.
KNUST.
12.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, per the scores given, University of Cape Coast had 14, 14, 13. That is an average of 13.67. KNUST had 12, 14, and 11.5. That is an average of 12.5. So at the end of round 3, KNUST had 12.5, UCC had 13.67. We are going into round 4A, but before then, the schools who want to effect some substitutions. Please, you may go ahead now. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you.
All right, beginning from KNUST, please introduce yourself.
I'm Kuje Champon, third year accounting.
Okay, and who do we have from the university?
Dennis Wisdom Answer, Bachelor of Commerce Finance.
The name again?
Dennis Wisdom Answer, Become Finance.
Okay, you are welcome, sir. We are going into round 4A. That is a graphic business segment. In this round, we are asking them questions on some stories that appeared in the graphic business newspaper. For the purpose of this contest, we are looking at stories that appeared in the 17th and 24th September editions of the graphic business newspaper. Each school will attempt 7 major questions. If you get your major question correct, that is 3 points. If it's a bonus, you have 1 point. 10 seconds to give an answer for a major question, 5 seconds for a bonus. 2 attempts only at a major question, 1 attempt at a bonus. We are beginning this round from the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast. Now, this is a common preamble to the 2 schools. Kindly take note. Common preamble. The African Development Bank, AFDB, has launched and priced a new social bond to coincide with the 60th anniversary of the founding of the AFDB. Now, University of Cape Coast, your major question. What is the geographical distribution of the investors in descending order? What is the geographical distribution of the investors in descending order?
Okay, we have America, and that one is, we have America, that's 47%, and then we have Middle East, that is, America 47%, Middle East is 32%, and then we have Africa, that is 21%.
2 out of 3. Africa is part of the Middle East group. The last one you're looking for is Asia. Asia. Now, KNUST, what is the distribution of the subscribers by type of investors in descending order? What is the distribution of the subscribers by type of investors in descending order?
So we have the first one being asset managers and fund managers who have a percentage of 15%, bank treasuries with a rate of 29%. We have this one. We have 56% relating to the central banks, and we have 29% relating to the bank treasuries, and then 15% relating to the asset managers and fund managers.
Yes, that is correct. Next set of questions, University of Cape Coast. Also, it begins with a common preamble. The banking sector posted strong performance during the first 6 months of 2024 on the back of sustained increase in deposits and other funding sources. Deposits remain the main source of funding for the banking sector in June 2024. Now, University of Cape Coast, your major question. What was the growth rate in deposits as at June 2023, June 2024, and the value of deposits in June 2024? what was the growth rate in deposits as of June 2023, June 2024, and the value of deposits in June 2024?
So for June 2023 was 44.7%. For June 2024 was 51.5, and as of 2024 it was 1.02 billion.
Can you come again with your answers? I want to be sure of what you are saying.
For June 2023 there was 44.7. June 2024 there was an amount of 54.1, and the value for as of June 2024 was 1.02 billion.
That is not correct. Bonus for KNUST.
So as at 2023, the rate was 42.8%. As at 2024, the rate was 31.1%, and the value was 425.9 billion.
Unfortunately for a bonus, I can't give that to you. The value is wrong. The value is wrong. For bonus, I cannot give half. There was an error of transposition in the value. Now your major question, KNUST. The banking sector posted strong performance during the first 6 months of 2024 on the back of sustained increases in deposits and other funding sources. Banks' shareholders' funds position, which comprises paid-up capital and reserves, continued to improve on account of a rebound in profits across the industry. In June 2024, what was the growth rate in shareholders' funds as of June 2023, June 2024, and the value of the shareholders' funds in June 2024? What was the growth rate in shareholders' funds as of June 2023, June 2024, and the value of the shareholders' funds in June 2024?
So the rate as at 2023 was 15.1%, and as at 2024 was 44.4%, and the rate was 32.3 billion cedis.
Please come again with your figures. I want to be sure of what you are saying.
Yes, the percentage at 2023 was 15.1%. The percentage rate at 2024 was 44.4%, and the value was 32.3 billion Ghana cedis.
2 out of 3. The June 2024 is 44.9%. 44.9%. That is what you missed. Next set of questions still begin with the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast. In the second part on the article of the Business of Manifestos, the 24-hour economy financial planning proposition by Professor Samuel Lati and Dr. Ishmael Ni Amano Dodu, the authors propose some ways that the NDC government can implement its 24-hour economy vision if they win the elections. University of Cape Coast, your question is to identify 3 of the points mentioned in the article. Identify 3 of the points mentioned by Professor Samuel Lati and Dr. Ishmael Ni Amano Dodu.
So they made mention of the 9th and 9th life tax. They made mention of the establishing public-private partnership and launching projects, and continuous monitoring and evaluation.
Yes, that is correct. KNUST. In the same second part of the article that I mentioned, they identified, or the authors proposed, some contemporary funding mechanisms for the ambitious 2024 manifesto of the NDC government. The authors proposed some contemporary funding mechanisms for the ambitious 2024 manifesto of the NDC government. Identify 3 of these contemporary funding mechanisms mentioned. Identify 3 of the contemporary funding mechanisms mentioned in the article.
So we have 1 being carbon financing, 2 being green financing, and 3 being contemporary financing using digital technology.
Yes, that is correct. Next set of questions, University of Cape Coast. Your major question. This is a common preamble. Please take note. According to a release by the Ministry of Finance, government will continue to prioritize the restoration and sustenance of macroeconomic stability which is necessary for the promotion of its inclusive growth agenda. Now, the release indicated that overall real GDP growth for the first half of 2024 rebounded strongly. University of Cape Coast, you have to tell me what was the overall real GDP growth rate in quarter 1, quarter 2, and a half year. What was the overall real GDP growth rate in quarter 1, quarter 2, and a half year?
So the overall GDP growth rate was for quarter 1 was for quarter 2 was 6.9, for quarter 1 was 4.8, and but for the end of the half year was 4.4.
2 out of 3. The half year is not correct, but the other 2 are correct. University, KNUST, your major question. The same release said it was instructive to note that the half-year growth rate was significantly higher than the growth target and the revised target. What was the original half-year target, revised half-year target, and the actual growth rate for the half-year of 2024? What was the original half-year target, revised half-year target, and the actual growth rate for the half-year of 2024?
Okay, so the original growth rate was 5.8%, and the revised rate was 3.1%, and the actual growth rate is 1.5%.
Please come again with your answers.
The original growth rate is 5.8%, and the revised growth rate is 3.1%, and the actual growth rate is 1.5%.
1 out of 3. You interchange the original target and the actual results. The original target is what is 1.5%, and the actual result is 5.8%. You interchange them. For the next set of questions, we are beginning with KNUST. Please, a common preamble to the 2 of you. According to a release by the Minister of Finance, with the same preamble I mentioned earlier on, government is going to continue to prioritize the restoration and sustenance of macroeconomic stability, which is necessary for the promotion of its inclusive growth agenda. 3 sectors contributed to the growth of the first half of the year. Now you have to identify the top 3 contributors, that is subsectors, and their rate of growth under each of the following sectors. Please, you get a preamble. Identify the top 3 contributors, that is subsectors, and their rate of growth under each of the following sectors. KNUST, yours is the services sector. Services sector.
So for the services sector, their overall growth was 5%, and it was for the services sector, the overall growth was 4.4%, and in quarter 1 it was as a result of in quarter 1 it was 2.8, and in quarter 1 it was 2.2, and then in quarter 2 it was 5.8.
I won't accept that. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
For the service, it was 4.4%, and the change in growth rate was they had 6.9 for the second quarter.
That is not correct. I doubt if you even heard my question. I'm not going to repeat myself. Now yours is University of Cape Coast. Your major question is industry sector. Industry sector.
So the industry sector had the growth rate of 8%, and they have they had subsectors under them, which include the mining, the oil and gas sector, the mining and quarrying sector, and they equally had the they also had the manufacturing, the construction sector, and the manufacturing sector. So for the The first one, they had 13.9, and the second one, which was the oil and gas, they had 9.9, and the construction, they had 8.3, and for the
It's correct, it's okay. So the question I asked you was to identify the top 3 subsectors. And you are mentioning growth rate in the sector. That's not what I was expecting. Next question, common preamble to the two of you. Common preamble. Binance, the leading global blockchain ecosystem behind the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume and users, is gearing up for the highly anticipated 6th edition of the Binance Blockchain Week. You are to identify any 3 key speakers at the program who are not members of Binance leadership team each. Identify any 3 key speakers at the program who are not members of Binance leadership team, beginning with UK and UST.
Okay, so we have Jeremy Ale, and then we also have Kaplan Belhu, and we also have Fadi Gandu.
Yes, that is correct. University of Cape Coast.
Okay, we have Adib Ahab, and then Kendrick Nguyen, and then Alex Cavenitz.
Yes, that is correct. Can you ask your major question? Now, Ghana's informal mining sector, often known as Galamsey, illegal small-scale mining, has become both a vital source of work for many Ghanaians and a major environmental and economic concern. Dr. Andrews Aiku writes on Galamsey, job creation and the future of Ghana's SMEs in the 24th September edition of the newspaper. Now, while Galamsey creates immediate jobs, it lacks long-term viability. The environmental harm it causes considerably affect the possibility of other economic activities, particularly those requiring natural resources such as agric and fisheries. KNUST, identify and explain any 3 recommendations made in the article on how to address the Galamsey menace. Identify and explain briefly any 3 recommendations made in the article on how to address the Galamsey menace.
Okay, so we have the Corporate Social Responsibility Initiative, and then with this, he was saying that large firms should sponsor repairing of the land after they have performed their Galamsey activities. Then we also have incentivizing sustainable industries. So companies which are in the industries of eco-construction, green technology, and also farming should be incentivized to continue their work. And then we also have government regulation and enforcement. With government regulation and enforcement, he was saying that they should enforce all regulations against Galamsey and also provide alternative sources for people to move
Yes,
from
that is correct. And now the last question for this round goes to the University of Cape Coast. Ghana, often hailed as a beacon of stability and democracy in Africa, continues to face significant economic challenges despite its wealth of natural resources. Professor Samuel Lartey, in his article on Reimagining Ghana's Economic Future, a precursor to post-2024 elections, the current economic challenges, the government and business leaders' appreciation of the situation, and some recommendations. You are to identify and explain briefly any 3 of the approaches suggested to turn around the economy post-2024 election. Identify and explain any 3 of the approaches suggested to turn around the economy post-2024 elections.
So they said the first one has to do with embracing technology, the second one has to do with enhancing the business environment, and the third one has to do with fiscal discipline.
The third one has to do with
fiscal discipline. So the first one, embracing technology, second one, enhancing the business environment, and the third one is fiscal discipline.
Yes, that is correct. On that note, we come to the end of round 4A, ladies and gentlemen. The contest is between KNUST and the University of Cape Coast, a place at the grand finale for this year's TBSC is at stake. Only one will survive. And that one can either be the University of Cape Coast or the KNUST. We have 2 more rounds to go, the true or false segment and the riddles segment. We wait for the scores for round 4A, but we are reminded that the program is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with ICAG and GTech. Our media partners are Daily Graphic, Graphic Online, TV3, and Asasi Radio. At the end of round 4A, the scores. At the end of round 4A, KNUST had 15 points, University of Cape Coast had 16 points. We are going into the true or false segment. Now in this round, I'm going to read out some statement to you. Your duty is to tell me if the statement is true or false. It is that simple. If you get it correct, we have 2 points. If you get it wrong, you suffer a penalty of -1. You may decide not to answer, in which case the other school may take it up under the same conditions. You have 7 major questions each, and you have 10 seconds within which to give me an answer. Please, no form of communication between audience and students on stage will be tolerated. Please, let's be on standby. Round 4A. We are beginning this round from the KNUST. All right. Common preamble in the true or false. Please listen to the preamble well. Marlene, a self-employed 16-year-old whose parents are dead, buys a dress on credit for 50 cedis. After receiving the dress and discovering that its reasonable value is only 25 cedis, Marlene tries to disaffirm the deal before paying the 50 cedis. You have to tell me if the following statements are true or false. Please, did you get a preamble? UCC, did you get a preamble? I take it again. Marlene, a self-employed 16-year-old whose parents are dead, buys a dress on credit for 50 cedis. After receiving the dress and discovering that its reasonable value is only 25 cedis, Marlene tries to disaffirm the deal before paying the 50 cedis. Are the following statements true or false? KNUST. Marlene can disaffirm, but she's only bound to pay 25 cedis. Marlene can disaffirm, but she's only bound to pay 25 cedis.
False.
No. University of Cape Coast. Marlene can disaffirm, and she can keep the dress without paying for it. Marlene can disaffirm, and she can keep the dress without paying for it.
False.
Yes. KNUST, your major question. A dominant strategy equilibrium is always a Nash equilibrium. True or false? A dominant strategy equilibrium is always a Nash equilibrium. True or false?
So false.
No. University of Cape Coast. In a Nash equilibrium, every player must have the same payoff. True or false? In a Nash equilibrium, every player must have the same payoff. True or false?
The answer is false.
Yes. KNUST, the value of a put option decreases as the underlying stock increases. The value of a put option decreases as the underlying stock increases.
True.
Yes. UCC, a put option's value decreases as its expiration date approaches. A put option's value decreases as its expiration date approaches?
True.
Yes. KNUST. Shane's model of organizational culture includes 3 levels: artifact, espouse values, and basic underlying assumptions. Shane's model of organizational culture includes 3 levels: artifact, espouse values, and basic underlying assumptions.
True.
Yes. UCC, Cameron and Quinn's competing values framework categorize organizational cultures into 3 types: clan, advocacy, and hierarchy. Cameron and Quinn's competing values framework categorizes organizational cultures into 3 types: clan, advocacy, and hierarchy.
False.
Yes, false. For the next set of questions, we begin from the University of Cape Coast. Next set of questions from University of Cape Coast. Net Promoter Score gauges customer loyalty and satisfaction by measuring the likelihood of customers recommending a brand to others. Net Promoter Score gauges customer loyalty and satisfaction by measuring the likelihood of customers recommending a brand to others. True or false?
True statement.
Yes, that is correct. KNUST. Conversion rate optimization focuses on improving the percentage of website visitors. No, let me take it again. Conversion rate optimization focuses on improving the percentage of website visitors who take a desired action, such as making a purchase or filling out a form. Conversion rate optimization focuses on improving the percentage of website visitors who take a desired action, such as making a purchase or filling out a form.
True.
Yes, true. University of Cape Coast. Autoregressive models and time series analysis predict future values based on past values and past forecast errors. Autoregressive models in time series analysis predict future values based on past values and past forecast errors. True or false?
False.
No. KNUST. The augmented Dikifula test is used to determine whether a time series is stationary or has a unit root. The augmented Dikifula test is used to determine whether a time series is stationary or has a unit root.
True.
Yes, true. And now the last statement. University of Cape Coast. The PEFA Secretariat, that is the Public Expenditure Financial Accountability Secretariat, is hosted by the IMF. The PEFA Secretariat is hosted by the IMF.
False.
Yes, false. KNUST. PEFA assessment, that is Public Expenditure and Financial Accountability Assessment, are universally comparable across countries. PEFA assessments are universally comparable across countries.
False.
Yes, false. On that note, we come to the end of round 4B, ladies and gentlemen. We have the final round coming up on riddles. We weigh the scores to see how round 4B went. The contest is as hot as was expected, and they are both defending their crowns. Will it be Cape Coast or Kumasi, Kotokraba or KJT, ladies and gentlemen? We have one last round to go. The scores for round 4B, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of round 4B, KNUST had 8 points, University of Cape Coast had 11 points. Okay, so to be decided here. But one thing we know for sure is that it wouldn't be a tie. It is not going to be a tie. It will be decided in this round. Yes. Riddles. There will be 6 riddles in all. 6 riddles in all. The riddles are open to both of you. You are supposed to indicate your readiness by ringing your bell. Let me hear the bell from UCC. And that of KNUST. Now, when you ring a bell, you have a maximum of 10 seconds to give an answer. If you give a wrong answer, you can no longer partake in that riddle. And I'll read further clues if there are any for the benefit of the other school. Where you answer correctly, depending on the clue, you may get 5 points if you answered right on the first clue, 4 points if you got the answer on the second clue, and 3 points on any other clue thereafter. Please, are we ready, KNUST? UCC, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, riddle number 1. I am a theory or concept in communication, invented in 1951 by Gregory Bateson. I am based on the idea that the same message accompanied can mean something entirely different, including its opposite as an irony. 3, I may or may not be congruent with, supportive of, or contradictory to that verbal communication. 4, I am of the view that nonverbal cues, such as body language, play a significant role in communication by providing additional meaning and context to messages. 5, I am defined as communication about communication, which was expanded to all exchange cues and propositions, that codification and relationship between communication. Who am I? University of Cape Coast.
Physical body artifacts.
No, please. KNUST.
Social cues.
No, please. The answer is meta communication. Meta communication. Riddle number 2. Riddle number 2. I am a term in human resource management, and more specifically related to an employee being absent from work. I originated in the British Civil Service, where employees had the right to request special leave for exceptional purposes. 2, I came to widespread public attention in 1986 when I was used in the BBC sitcom Yes, Prime Minister, episode 1 of Us, and in Silent Witness, season 18, regarding Officer Carl Perry. 3, I became a euphemism for suspended as an employee who was formally suspended pending an investigation into the conduct would often request to be out of office on special leave instead. 4, I'm the practice whereby an employee leaving a job that is having resigned or otherwise had their employment terminated is instructed to stay away from work during the notice period while still remaining on the payroll. University of Cape Coast.
Probation.
No. KNUST, this is for your benefit. I can also refer to the case of an employee sent home pending disciplinary proceeding when they are between projects or when, as a result of publicity, their presence at work is considered counterproductive. Who am I? KNUST.
Are we this?
No, please. It is called gardening leave. Riddle number 3. Of course, this is the semi-finals. I am a recent significant inclusion in the auditor reporting standards through International Standards on Auditing 701, ISA 701. I may be relevant to different sized entities and University of Cape Coast.
Audit of small, medium enterprises.
No. So this is for the benefit of KNUST only. I may be relevant to different sized entities and all practitioners, including small and medium-sized practices, as I apply to both audit of financial statement of listed entities and non-listed entities. I was born out of investor demand for more detail on the audit process, more contextual information to help investors differentiate between the large number of companies that receive clean audit reports. 4, in my determination, auditors are required to take into account the areas of higher assessed risks of material misstatement or significant risks, the significant auditor judgment relating to areas in the financial statements. 5, simply those matters that in the auditor's professional judgment were of most significance in the audit of the financial statements of the current period. Who am I? KNUST.
Key audit matters.
Yes, key audit matters. They answered on the last clue, that is 3 points. 3 points. We have 3 more riddles to go. All right, we go. I am a type of income that creates a tax liability for people. I can complicate the process of tax planning because even though I have not been realized, I am an income that is attributed to one's tax liability. 3, I can also pose challenges for taxpayers when I am not planned for, because I can create an unexpected tax burden. 4, I am typically an investment gain that has not yet been realized, though a cash sale or through a cash sale or a distribution. 5, I occur when an individual is taxed on the value of their stake in a partnership or another equivalent agreement, even if they do not receive any cash benefits or compensation. Who am I? UCC.
Unrealized gain.
No. Okay. The answer is phantom income. Phantom income. Riddle number 5. Riddle number 5. I am a psychological theory that aims to explain the relationship between attitudes, intentions, and behaviors. 2. University of Cape Coast.
Theory of planned behavior.
No. I continue. I was developed by Martin Fishburne and Isaac Ashton. KNUST.
Theory of raising action.
Yes. Yes. The theory of reasoned action. They answered on the second clue, that is 4 points. 4 points. We have a last riddle coming up. Last riddle. All right, let's go on. Please, let's finish this. Riddle number 6. I am a type of supply chain management that moves goods upstream from customers to the sellers or manufacturers. 2. I am a part of a company's value chain as I am an additional link that is added to optimize the production process and customer loyalty. 3. I'm related to the circular economy because my goal is to recycle or reuse products and materials. KNUST.
Reverse supply chain.
Reverse supply chain or reverse logistics is correct. Yes, that is correct. They answered on the third clue. That is 3 points. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the contest. That is the end of the contest. That is 3 points. So the scores for round 5. Do we have them? Yes. So let's have the scores for round 5. Okay, University of Cape Coast had no points. KNUST had 10 points. So ladies and gentlemen, the scores for round 5. University of Cape Coast had no points. KNUST had 10 points. And now we await the final scores. But before then, University of Cape Coast, how do you assess the contest? What is your assessment of the contest?
Well, we did our best. It just didn't go our way, so yeah.
Yeah. What do you make of your opponents?
Well, we knew from the onset they were very good, and we decided to give our best. It just said it didn't happen as we wanted. Well, I wish them the best also in the rest of their journey.
KNUST team, how do you assess your performance in this contest?
To whom it may concern. This is our level of A game, and we are hoping to improve on it to meet you guys. And kudos to UCC, Charlie. Obstacle can see your power. Hey.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, REL recognizes REL. Yes, they know what they are all made of. And of course, they respect each other for whatever they have given in this contest. Ladies and gentlemen, the final scores. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the contest, these are the final scores. The University of Cape Coast from the Central Region and the Southwest Zone, 62.7 points. The Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology from the Middle Zone, 75.5 points. Ladies and gentlemen, by this result and by the powers in me vested, I hereby declare that the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has qualified to the grand finale of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge 2024. Congratulations to you, KNUST.
Thank you.
I'll see you at the grand finale.
Sure. We will be there.
University of Cape Coast, unfortunately, for the very first time, you will not be making it to the grand finale of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge. You did your best. You did your best. But on the day, KNUST just proved to be a bit better. Yes. So unfortunately, your journey in this year's TBSC will have to come to an end today. Thank you very much for being part of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge 2024. Version 6.0, I'll see you in 2025, stronger and better. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first semi-final contest between the University of Cape Coast and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has come to an end, with the KNUST qualifying to the grand finale by 75.5 points. Yes, so we have two more semi-final contests coming up. The next contest will be between the University of Education Winneba and the University for Development Studies. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure hosting you this morning for our first semi-final contest. On behalf of Graphic Business, ICAG, and GTEC, on behalf of Daily Graphic, Graphic Online, NTV3, MTN, PwC, Glyco Life, Compu Ghana, Ghana National Association of Teachers, and Gold Ghana. Of course, on behalf of my wonderful judges, Mr. Sigmund Eli Yevuga, we have Mr. Albertina Itego, and Mr. Dixon Asan. And my production team, Atuafo, Franklin Sowa, Samuel Esel, Hussein Zakari, David Abel, Yvonne Ayi, Prosper Zuma, NSJC, David Gazor, Lawrence Asari, Jacob Doku, Felix Tay, Joshua Empenua, Evans Tayuba, Harrison, and Franklin Aka. Ladies and gentlemen, and of course, my studio audience and those who join us online, I say thank you so much for being part of this contest. I'll see you in the next semi-final contest between UEW and UDS. I sign off. My name is Al-Hassan Yusuf Traule. And remember that I love academic violence. I'll see you.
The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our Tertiary Business Sense Challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership is acquiring ATSWA, CA Professional, Post-Chartered Diploma from ICAG. ICAG, where leaders become more. The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our Tertiary Business Sense Challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership is acquiring ATSWA, CA Professional, Post-Chartered Diploma from ICAG. ICAG, where leaders become more. The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our Tertiary Business Sense Challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership is acquiring ATSWA, CA Professional, Post-Chartered Diploma from ICAG. ICAG, where leaders become